like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.
In the glittering world of K-pop, where fame can fade as quickly as it arrives, true connections are rare. Yet among the countless relationships formed under blinding lights and echoing cheers, one bond has continued to captivate millions across the globe: the quiet, enduring connection between Park Jimin and Jungkook of BTS. Fans call them Jikook, not merely as a label, but as a symbol of something deeper, a promise kept through the passage of time, through chaos, distance, and growth. This is not just a story of friendship. It's a story of trust, of silent loyalty, of two souls who found in each other a reflection of what it means to endure. When Jungkook joined BTS, he was only 15, shy, impressionable, and still figuring out who he was. Jimin, 2 years older, arrived later but carried warmth that instantly drew people close. He had a way of seeing others, not just watching them, but understanding them. It didn't take long for him to notice the quiet boy who spent long nights practicing alone, often too hard on himself. Jimin would wait until everyone else was gone, then approach gently, offering not advice, but presence. "Let's go eat," he would say. Simple words, yet in them lay a kind of care Jungkook hadn't known he needed. Their connection wasn't loud at first. It was built in silence, in the way Jimin would hand Jungkook a towel after rehearsals, or how Jungkook would unconsciously look for Jimin whenever he laughed too hard or got nervous on camera. They became each other's anchor in a world that demanded perfection. When you grow up in the public eye, it's easy to lose yourself. But somehow, they found each other, again and again, in the small spaces between fame and exhaustion. As the years went by, fans began to notice how intertwined their lives had become. They moved like mirrors, Jimin's hand reaching toward Jungkook in interviews, Jungkook leaning closer without realizing it. Their words were few, but their eyes spoke in volumes. There was a tenderness in the way Jungkook watched Jimin perform, a kind of awe that couldn't be faked. And when Jimin looked back, there was always pride, the kind that comes from watching someone you've seen struggle finally stand tall. People talk about Jikook moments, the small gestures that make hearts race, the hand touches, the glances, the laughter that feels a little too intimate. But beyond the viral clips and fan cams lies something deeper, a history written quietly between two people who never needed to say much to understand each other. Behind the stage lights, they've seen each other at their lowest. They've shared tears, fears, and the loneliness that comes from living under endless scrutiny. They've learned to speak in coded language, a glance, a smile, a word only they understand. Because sometimes, in their world, silence speaks safer than words. What makes Jikook's bond so magnetic is that it has endured. Over a decade of change, of solo careers, of rumors, of misunderstandings, and yet that thread between them remains. There have been moments when fans worried. When schedules separated them, when public appearances grew fewer, when social media interactions became rare. The silence sometimes felt heavy. People whispered, did they drift apart? Are they still close? But time and again, Jimin and Jungkook proved something stronger than words. A promise doesn't need to be spoken to be kept. Every time the world doubted them, a small moment would surface. A look during an award show, a quiet mention in an interview, a shared laugh caught by accident. It's as if they have their own rhythm, a secret song that plays just for the two of them. And fans who've followed them from the start know, Jikook has never been about constant display. It's about constancy, the quiet, unwavering kind. When BTS announced their break to focus on solo projects, the world held its breath. The members were scattered across different paths, acting, fashion, solo music. Jungkook's global stardom exploded through his solo releases, while Jimin carved out his own world of elegance and emotion, painting pain and beauty with every note. Yet even as they walked their separate roads, echoes of each other remained. Jungkook's live broadcasts often played Jimin's songs in the background. Jimin, in his interviews, never failed to mention how proud he was of Jungkook. They no longer needed to appear side by side to be connected. Their bond had evolved into something invisible yet unbreakable. The phrase, "promise keeper," became symbolic among fans who noticed how both of them, in their own ways, seemed bound by something sacred. Once, Jimin had said in a V-Live years ago, "I'll always be by your side." Jungkook had laughed then, embarrassed, but his eyes softened in a way that said he believed him. Since then, every time life tested them, through rumors, misunderstandings, or distance, it felt like that promise lingered quietly between them. There's something deeply poetic about how they've grown. Jungkook, once the shy boy who followed Jimin around like a shadow, became confident, outspoken, and world-renowned. Jimin, once the self-critical perfectionist, learned to love himself more, finding strength in vulnerability. And yet, even with fame and maturity, when they're together, that familiar warmth returns, like there's still those two boys in the practice room, laughing over late-night takeout. In recent years, fans have noticed how their interactions have become more subtle, more mature. Gone are the days of overt teasing or constant clinging. Instead, what remains is quiet assurance, a kind of unspoken understanding that doesn't need validation. It's as if their relationship has transcended visibility. It exists now in the unseen, in the felt. When Jungkook once mentioned, "There are people who will always stay in my heart," many couldn't help but think of Jimin. When Jimin wrote in his album about "the one who understands me the most," fans felt the connection instantly. Perhaps that's the essence of their bond. It has evolved from youthful attachment to something eternal. A promise that no matter where life leads them, they will carry each other's memories, laughter, and kindness within. Time may move forward, but the bond they built refuses to fade. It is quiet, enduring, and deeply human. The beauty of Jikook is not just in their affection, but in their growth, how they've supported each other's becoming. They've taught each other what it means to be patient, to forgive, to stay even when things change. In the ruthless world of fame, where everything is fleeting, they remind us that connection is timeless when it's built on truth. Even now, when Jimin stands under a different spotlight and Jungkook tours the world with his own music, fans can still feel it, the invisible thread that ties them. Sometimes it's in a lyric that feels like a memory, other times, in a glance that lasts half a second on camera. But for those who have watched them for years, those seconds are everything. They're reminders that promises, when made from the heart, outlast time. In a recent interview, when Jungkook was asked about his closest people in the group, he smiled quietly and said, "There's someone who always keeps his promises." He didn't say the name. He didn't have to. And when Jimin was asked what he missed most during BTS's group hiatus, his answer was simple: "The comfort of someone who understands me without words." Again, no names were spoken, yet everyone who knew their history felt the weight of those words. They've never needed to proclaim anything out loud. Their story isn't about grand declarations. It's about quiet loyalty. It's about showing up even when the cameras aren't rolling. It's about looking back years later and realizing, through everything, they never let go. So when fans say, "promise keeper," they're not just talking about one of them. They're talking about both. Because through the storms of fame, through the silence, through the years that have shaped them into men from the boys they once were, Jimin and Jungkook have kept something sacred, the promise to protect what they built together. It's in every moment they've shared, in every unseen gesture that only those who truly watch can recognize. It's in the songs they've written, the glances exchanged, the quiet support offered behind closed doors. Their story isn't a fairy tale. It's a testament that real bonds don't fade under pressure, they evolve. As BTS continues to change, as time keeps moving, fans still whisper their names together. Not because they're holding on to the past, but because what Jimin and Jungkook represent transcends fandom. They represent faith, in people, in promises, in love that doesn't have to be loud to be real. Somewhere, perhaps years from now, when both of them look back on their journey, they'll see how much they've carried each other, in ways the world may never fully understand. And maybe they'll smile, quietly, knowing that through every season, every distance, every silence, they kept their promise. Because in the end, Promise Keeper isn't just a title. It's a truth, written not in headlines or fan theories, but in the quiet endurance of two souls who chose, again and again, to believe in each other. And that, more than fame, more than music, more than the years, is what makes Jikook eternal.